Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing great. So I wanted to come to you tonight and give you this free training. And it's something that is always in the works in the background of my own life as it relates to social media and what to do with your time on social media. And there are a lot of different variants to this formula. A lot of people will tell you a lot of different things, but I'm going to tell you tonight what works for me, why it works for my lifestyle. And if you're somebody who's really, really busy or really, really inconsistent on social media, why it's going to work for you too. So before we get started, make sure you share the broadcast. If you're interested in learning more as we go through this training, and if you're serious, if you're somebody who's serious, hey Julie, about changing your social media, make sure you schedule a call at bit.ly/Black Girl Profits Call so that we can help you understand what it is that you need to do differently in your brand to make your social media mega consistent. And the reason that that's so important is that everything boils down to on social media a numbers game. And I want you to get away from thinking that you got to be a certain way or you're not good enough this or this, your product, and you're spending more time tampering with your product than you're spending getting in front of people. So it all boils down to, social media is a numbers game. So are you playing the game the right way? And it doesn't always mean getting on more platforms if you don't have the right tools and the right things set up in the background. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So 5 trends in social media that you cannot ignore that will definitely help you to get you to make sure you write these down. And again, I'm going to be talking about each one of these individually at 10 a.m. next week. So make sure you tune in 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on live stream. Number 1 is advertising. I don't mean boosting a post. I don't mean setting up ads to go to your next paid event. I mean having a serious strategy for number 1, how much money you're going to invest in your advertising campaign. Number 2, who's going to set that advertising campaign up for you. Number 3, what is your objective for that advertising campaign? Some of y'all need to just be running campaigns to introduce yourself to people. And believe it or not, there are multiple types of campaigns that you need to have set up and be running all the time, even if you're not spending a lot of money on those campaigns. So let me give you a quick test. How many of you have an advertising campaign of some type set up right this minute? I want you to go ahead and say me in the chat. How many of you have an advertising campaign? And remember, we're going to be doing social media Saturdays every single Saturday. So make sure you tune in at 8 p.m. But just, hey, Ramonica, hey, D. Morris, make sure you say me in the chat. Because if you don't have a long-term advertising strategy, you're playing in the wrong field. Social media right now is very much pay to play. Social media is very much, you got to put something in to get something out. Long gone are the days where you could get thousands and thousands of views for free. So if you don't have it, and here's the thing, I want you to get this too. And again, guys, if you haven't shared the broadcast, make sure you share the broadcast. You've got to have more than one type of advertising set up, running congruently. And all of those advertising campaigns that you have set up need to be for a different reason. And this is something I'm teaching my clients right now. We break, we get tired, things happen. And so if you don't have some type of advertising campaign going on in the background, when you step away, your advertising stops. And that's not a real business. Somebody said, I don't care whatever reason it is that you step away. We break, we get tired, emergencies happen, all of those things. So when those things happen in your life, what is your continuity plan to still bring in clients? And if you don't have a plan, you definitely need a long-term strategy. People say, well, what about Clubhouse? The people on Clubhouse for hours. Good afternoon, Yamoya. The people who are on live stream for hours. So what happens when you don't have those hours to invest in your advertising? And if you don't have something that's set up in the background already, then what happens to even the customers that you've been nurturing up to that point, and then all of a sudden they go away because you're going away? So I think it's critical that everybody understand that in order for you to be a real business owner, you must have some type of advertising budget. I don't care if it's $20 a day. I want you to sit and think. How many of you do not have an advertising budget? Go ahead and say me in the chat. I just want to know, how many of you do not have an advertising budget? Say me in the chat. If you don't have an advertising budget, and I want you to think about those individuals that have advertising budgets. We know Starbucks has an advertising budget. They run commercials all the time. We know McDonald's has an advertising budget. We know Amazon has an advertising budget. If these billion-dollar brands, Apple, Facebook, we know all of them have an advertising budget. If these billion-dollar brands have an advertising budget, then what would make you think that you don't need one? As a matter of fact, what would make you think that a budget is not mandatory? You know, I want to play big. I want to be one of the big boys. And so when it's all said and done, I don't want to be over here struggling to make it happen. So if I want to be one of the big boys, then I got to play like the big boys. And the big boys come with an advertising budget. And you may not have a big one to start with. But it even boils down to, okay, I don't have a big budget to start with. But as I'm growing, can I add to my advertising budget? That's the social media trend that not only is not going to stop anyway soon, it is the new expectation for social media. Thank you, Verlin, for moderating and asking people to share this broadcast. But if you're a business owner, expect to pay for social media and marketing, okay? Which brings us to the next thing. This is another social media trend that you cannot ignore. You've got to have a consistent marketing plan. And you've got to know what your clients want from you. That day of catch-all marketing is done. There are so many people out here right now. People are going to come to you for a particular reason. In your marketing, you got to do several things. Number one, you got to know what makes you different. If you don't know what makes you different, if you don't know what makes you stand out, if you don't know who you're talking to, and you just out there saying, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, unfortunately, no matter how good your product is, you're going to get ignored. And you're going to get ignored because people are very about themselves, as well they should be. You know, hey, Monique, if you're going to spend money with somebody, then don't you think that person is worthy of you sitting there and thinking about what they really want? You know, I guess what I'm saying is, in order for you to be successful on social media, you're going to have to get to that place where you think more about the person on the other side. Thank you, Monique. Thank you, Chiquita. You really want a 7-figure social media plan? How much time are you spending thinking about the person that you're here to serve? And are you doing a good job taking those thoughts and turning those thoughts into a marketing plan? Or better yet, do you even have one? And that's ouch. That's an ouch. Do you have a marketing plan? Not just for today, but what are you marketing tomorrow? What are you marketing next week? What are you marketing next month? What are you marketing next year? What do people really want from you? And unfortunately, as entrepreneurs, so many times, because we're running that race and we're by ourselves and we don't have expert advice and we don't have a team, we're literally running our business day by day. And if you're running your business day by day, that doesn't leave you any room to grow. That doesn't give you any room to be a visionary in your business. That doesn't leave you any capacity for thinking about or planning tomorrow. So not only does your marketing need to be planned, but just like your advertising, your marketing needs to be ongoing. I just got off the phone with Chiquita. And one of the things that I was telling her is to get her marketing to a place where she's always marketing. And let me just bring that home to you. You always need money, right? If you always need money, raise your hand. If you always got a bill, raise your hand. If somebody somewhere is always sending you something in the mail, asking you for 2 or 3 coins, raise your hand. I know me personally, I got post-traumatic stress disorder. Baby, I hate the mail. And I have post-traumatic stress disorder from them days where I didn't have a whole lot of money. You understand what I'm saying? And so I don't know if any of y'all do what I do. One thing I used to do was when I got the mail, let me tell y'all what I would do. Let me get an envelope. When I got the mail, I would open up, not the whole envelope, but just the window, just to see how much I owed. And then I close it back up. Anybody else ever did that? I didn't open up the whole envelope. Baby, I just raised up that window enough to see how much I owed. And then I closed that thing and wait for it. Might put that joker back in the mailbox. Y'all ain't listening to me. I might put that joker back in the mailbox. You hear me? You know, I'm not gonna fake the funk. I ain't always been generating revenue at this level. So when I first started, it was me and them kids. They was busy. Baby, I go get that mail. And if I didn't like what that bill said, I'll put that bill back in the mailbox. Hello? I'll peek through that little window and see what it say I owe. Baby, I'll put that thing back in the mailbox. Deal with it another day. So I say that to say, If you always got bills coming, you should always be marketing. If you're laying in your bed, let me show you how deep this is. And this is what I'm working on with my clients. If you're laying in your bed, something somewhere needs to have your name on it, getting in front of people. Is it the live stream video you did yesterday? Is it the Facebook ads? Is it the email you sent? Something somewhere needs to always be running. Because if not, how do you keep up with that flow of bills that's always coming? And not only that, but this really is the secret to 7-figure marketing. There are some people that you see their videos all day, every day. You get their emails all day, every day. You see them on LinkedIn. You see them on Facebook. You see them on Instagram. Is that true? There are some people that you're always seeing. So ask yourself this. Why not you? Why not you? I'm always seeing McDonald's advertising with their horrible food. And now that Burger King got this new Chicken sandwich out, that y'all know I done went and got it because I'm a big girl. Hello? Y'all know I done went and got it because I'm a big girl. Ain't nothing but a knockoff Popeye's chicken sandwich, y'all. That's all they did. They probably got the same people that make that Popeye's chicken sandwich to go and make me one. But if they're always advertising you and always marketing something new, you got to ask yourself, why not me? And again, if you're serious about making a change with your social media, schedule a free social media assessment with my team at bit.ly/blackgirlprofitscall. So that's number 2. So number 1 was paid advertising. Number 2 was a consistent marketing plan. Number 3 is list building. If you're not building your list like you're crazy right now, and I started the year saying fanatical. That was my word for the year. And I fell off a little bit, but I'm back. So if you're not out there building your list like you're crazy, adding every single person that you come in contact with to your list, if you're not doing that, then ask yourself, why not? If you're not putting every single person that you run in contact with on your list, let me give you an example. You got 1,000 people on your list. You want to do a retreat for 10 people, charging $3,000. If you got 1,000 people on your list, what are the chances that you can get at least 10? What are the chances that you can get at least 10 to pay $3,000 to come into a retreat? Pretty good, huh? What if you had 5,000 people on your list? What are the chances of you getting 10 that pay $3,000? What if you had 10,000 people on your list? You got 10,000 people on your list. What are the chances of you getting 10 to come? And the more people you add to your list, the better the chances are for you to be able to get people to show up to your conferences, to your coaching classes, to your retreats. For some strange reason, we go out and we give away knowledge upon knowledge, but we never think to add that person to our list. And it is critical if you really want to grow your brand. And I don't mean just email, I mean text, eventually messenger. Any way you can have these people on a list And the only reason I put Messenger last was because with Messenger, Facebook still owns that list. I can't contact those people outside of Facebook. So my priority is the list that I own and the list that I have built. And so, and I don't just mean email addresses. I mean phone numbers. I mean addresses. The more ways I have to get in touch with you, the better. So, fanatical list building of all types. That social media trend is not going to stop. And I can pretty much guarantee you that your revenue is always going to be in direct correlation with the number of people on your list. You're not going to figures with 500 people on your list. Let me just take that back. It's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. Which brings me to the next point, which is follow-up. So once you've got all of these people on your list, do you know what to say to them? Do you know when to communicate to them? Do you know what to offer them? And if you don't, that's definitely something that you need to know. There's nothing worse than a cold list. You've done all that work to get these people on your email list, and now you're not speaking to them. Do you know what that's like? That's like you inviting me to a party, and you do all that work to get me to that party, and then I come to the party and you don't speak to me. You did all that work to get me to a party. And once I'm at that party, girl, you don't crack your lips and speak to me, I'm not ever coming back to your party again. And that's how we are when we have inconsistent pieces of a digital marketing puzzle. Somebody somewhere told you you need to build a list, but they didn't tell you what to do with the list. Somebody told you somewhere you need a lead magnet, but then they didn't tell you what to do when the people get. Somebody told you you needed a group, but they didn't know what to do with the group once you got it. So to me, again, it's just that consistent social media knowledge, and not just having it, but understanding it and using it. Does that make sense? I think there's so much knowledge out there right now, but you got to ask yourself, who's helping people connect the pieces? And I almost think it's a COE conspiracy. And let me tell you why. Because you got to go over here and pay X number of dollars to learn email marketing. Then you got to go over here and pay some more money to learn Facebook ads. Then you got to go over here and spend some more money. And then they just give you a bunch of videos. And nobody's really helping you apply it. Nobody's really helping you put it all together. Nobody's really helping you make sense of it all. And so one thing I do with my clients, I try to help them make it make sense. Now, it's up to them to do it, but I want them to understand how all of these pieces work together to generate their revenue. And then even if there's something you don't want to do, so let's just say you don't want to go live. Do you have a mechanism in the background running for you and doing your marketing for you so that you don't have to? You can't just say, I don't want to do it. You got to have a replacement, a placebo. So list building definitely critical for your ability to be able to follow up. Last but not least is video. And I don't mean live stream, I mean video. Notice how, and let me tell you how warped people are. When I say social media trends, people think I'm going to come on here and talk about Clubhouse. But to me, Clubhouse ain't been around long enough for us to call it a trend. I mean, it's a trend, but does it have staying power like video? Does it have staying power like building a list? Does it have staying power like paid advertising? Does it have staying power like a marketing campaign? Does it have staying power like email marketing? So we got to be careful which dogs we chase when we don't even have our basics set up. And now when your basics are set up, you can do any and everything. But you got to have those basics set up first. So again, if you're somebody that's serious about making sure you have the basics with your social media, go to bit.ly/Black Girl Profits Call. Schedule a social media assessment with my team and get an understanding. You know, the Bible says in all of your getting, get an understanding. It's time for you to get an understanding about social media. You have to be the expert. Hello? You don't have to be the expert. But you do have to understand it. Where to spend your time, where to spend your energy, where to spend your money, so that you're getting the right return on your investment. I hope that helps somebody. I'm going to be here every Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, talking to you about social media. If you schedule a call with my team, make sure you do so. Be on the lookout for my digital marketing labs, where we're going to meet live in Houston and help you put your digital marketing to work. Help you get your automation set up. Help you better understand how to get the money you need to move the needle in your business. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and have an amazing Saturday evening.